Welcome to the Positively Inspired CoParenting podcast. I'm Sai Gonzalez Silva, and I'm here with Rick Hartley. We're here to share experiences and insights on navigating the ups and downs of co-parenting. Through our journey and the stories of others, we aim to inspire, educate, and support parents who are working to create positive, nurturing environments for their children after separation or divorce.
In this episode, we're going to explore the dynamics of co-parenting relationships. We're going to share our own story and the stories of other couples who have faced various challenges and found unique paths to a cooperative co-parenting partnership. Our goal is to show that successfully shifting from a previous failed relationship, such as a marriage or romantic partnership, to a new relationship called co-parenting, it's possible to build healthy, supportive environments for your children to thrive in. However, failing to make this shift can have tragic consequences for your kids. So let's dive in and explore these journeys together. Our love story started like many others. Sai and I, we met on a dating site called One and Only while she was still living in Veracruz, Mexico, and I was living in San Francisco, California. After a year and 2 months of dating, we got married, and Sai bravely left her home to start a new life in the United States with me. Now, Sai, she was raised by stable, well-adjusted parents, and this contrasted with my violent upbringing with a violent alcoholic father and a completely unreliable mom. I also had been previously married with 2 children, and co-parenting with my ex-wife was far from cooperative. Despite these challenges, Sai and I thought having a child of our own would be a wonderful blessing. However, having a child of our own proved really difficult, and after many years of trying, we turned to IVF. Finally, after 11 years of marriage, our twin boys were born.
Throughout my life, I've had health issues. The big one was allergies. And initially, I wasn't sure I wanted children. I was thinking being a stepmom to Rick's 2 children would be enough. Rick helped me realize that I might regret not having children of my own, given his super healthy background, which gave me the confidence that our children would likely be healthy too. Before we decided to have any children, I had seen firsthand how toxic Rick's dad was and the inexplicable power he had over Rick. First, Rick quit his lucrative job to work for his dad, and when his dad's promises were broken, we moved to Phoenix, Arizona, where his first 2 children lived. The 2006 finances crisis hit us hard, and by 2008, we were struggling financially. As we were able to overcome all those challenges together, I felt confident we would be able to be good parents to our children. Just 2 months before our twins were born, Rick had an emotional breakdown, expressing his fear of not being a good father. Given his past, I assured him he'd do better, and we moved on. Our boys were born healthy and with no health issues. However, after the boys were born, Rick became distant and unreliable. His unresolved trauma resurfaced, leading to an 18-month drug-induced binge that almost killed him and an extramarital affair. When the boys were just over a year old, we decided to separate, and less than a year later, we divorced.
The decision to separate came during a time when I was blindly wrapped up in a toxic affair, believing that relationship was my future. Once the separation was final, I went into fixing Rick mode at all costs. Initially, my reasons were not about saving my marriage or my kids. They're about becoming the man that other woman needed. That said, for some reason, I had only one demand that I made to Sai. It was I wanted 50-50 custody of our kids. I don't know how, but somehow, deep down, I knew my life-saving reason would turn out to be my kids, even if it was only unconscious at first. As you can imagine, this was not an easy decision for Sai to make. I promised her that I would do everything I could to get better. I quit the drugs, cold turkey, and I went into therapy to work on myself. What I thought was going to be anger management therapy turned out to be complete emotion management therapy. During this time, I had learned that my trauma from childhood had caused me to hate myself and therefore become self-destructive. I was single-handedly destroying every good thing that came into my life. I did a lot of soul-searching through the years of alone time. The entire time I was rebuilding myself, Sai did allow me 50-50 custody of our children, and Sai learned very quickly that I was never going to break my promise to her. She was able to see that I could be depended on 100%.
The transition from being a couple to co-parents was not easy. As you can imagine, at first, emotions ran high, and communication was not easy. We had to navigate the complexities of legal processes, figure out living arrangements, and one non-negotiable for me, ensure our children felt loved and secured in the middle of the changes. It was a challenging period. I also had to do a lot of personal growth of my own. Those times were filled with moments of doubt and frustration.
But we were committed to making it work. We realized that our relationship had to evolve, and we needed to redefine our roles in each other's lives. Quite by chance, Sai and I realized that our old relationship was just that, old. Instead of trying to fix what was broken, we decided to focus exclusively on developing a brand new relationship, one that didn't have the baggage of the past, one that could have a brand new foundation that we could build on. At the time, we didn't fully understand what we were doing, but many years later, looking back on it, it became clear. We had created a framework for success in a cooperative, co-parenting partnership. By letting go of past grievances and focusing on the present, we laid the groundwork for a healthier and more effective partnership for the sake of our kids. We had developed a brand new relationship called a co-parenting partnership.
We agreed on a co-parenting plan that worked for both of us. We set the schedule that allowed our children to spend quality time with each parent, ensuring stability and consistency. We also made a pact to keep our personal issues separate from our parenting responsibilities. This meant putting aside our differences during family gatherings and focusing on creating a positive environment for our children.
Sai and I, we decided really early that our children mattered more to us than the problems of that past relationship or the hurts or heartaches. That was old. Neither one of us could do anything about that anymore. But we could make sure our kids grew up healthy and happy. So one of the most significant steps we took was to maintain open and respectful communication. We established regular check-ins to discuss our children's needs, upcoming events, and any concerns that arose. Now, this approach, it helped us to stay aligned and prevented misunderstandings from escalating into conflicts. We learned to listen to each other, respect each other's viewpoints, and work collaboratively for the sake of our kids.
We also made an effort to support each other's roles as parents. We attend school events, extracurricular activities, and family celebrations together. We present a united front for our children. We recognize the importance of showing our kids that despite our separation, we're still a family that cares deeply for them. Through our story, we hope to inspire other divorced parents or separated parents to prioritize their children's needs and work towards a cooperative co-parenting relationship. It's a journey that requires effort, patience, and a willingness to evolve, but you can't put a price on the rewards of seeing your children grow up in a positive and nurturing environment. Every co-parenting journey is unique, and while our story is one example, there are many paths to building a cooperative and supportive environment for your children. Next, I'd like to share a story about a couple who found themselves in a unique situation. Emily and Jason were never married but had a beautiful daughter together. The relationship started off with a lot of excitement and passion, but over time, they realized that their long-term goals and interests didn't align. They cared deeply for each other, but the romantic spark that brought them together had faded. Regardless, they were both committed to being the best parents they could be for their daughter, Lily. They understood that their relationship, while no longer romantic, didn't have to end in bitterness or conflict. Instead, they chose to focus on building a strong friendship and a cooperative co-parenting partnership. Emily and Jason sat down and had an honest conversation about their future. They agreed that forcing a romantic relationship for the sake of their child would ultimately do harm more than good. Their primary goal was to ensure that Lily grew up in a loving, supporting environment. They decided to transition the relationship into friendship. emphasizing mutual respect and cooperation. One of the first steps they took was to establish clear communication. They set up regular check-ins to discuss Lily's needs, schedules, and any concerns that might arise. These conversations were crucial in keeping them aligned and preventing misunderstandings. They learned to listen to each other's points of views and work together to make decisions that were in Lily's best interest. Another important aspect of their co-parenting relationship was setting boundaries. They recognized the need to create a new dynamic was different and had to be different from their romantic relationship. They defined their roles and responsibilities clearly, ensuring that there was no overlap or confusion. This included dividing parenting duties fairly and respecting each other's times and space. Emily and Jason also made a conscious effort to support each other's roles as parents. They attended school events, doctor's appointments, and extracurricular activities together. They wanted Lily to see that despite not being together, they were still a team when it came to her well-being. This united front provided a sense of stability and security for their daughter. One of the most significant challenges they faced was introducing new partners into their lives. They agreed to handle this delicately, always prioritizing Lily's feelings and ensuring that she felt comfortable. They communicated openly about their dating lives and introduced new partners gradually, making sure to explain the changes to Lily in a way that she could understand. Through all of this, Emily and Jason maintained a strong friendship. They supported each other through personal challenges and celebrated each other's successes. Their friendship became a cornerstone of their co-parenting relationship, providing a solid foundation of trust and mutual respect. Over time, their efforts paid off. Lily thrived in a positive environment they had created. She saw her parents working together, communicating effectively, and supporting each other. This model of cooperation and respect became an invaluable lesson for her, showing her the importance of healthy relationships. Emily and Jason's story is a testament to the power of friendship and cooperation. By focusing on their shared goal of raising a happy, well-adjusted child, they were able to navigate the complexities of their relationship with grace and maturity. Their journey wasn't without challenges, but their commitment to their daughter and to each other as co-parents made all the difference. For anyone in a similar situation, Emily and Jason's story offers hope and inspiration. It's possible to redefine your relationship and create a positive, nurturing environment for your child. It takes effort, patience, and a willingness to communicate openly. But the rewards are tremendous. By putting their child's needs first and working together as a team, Emily and Jason showed that it's possible to build a strong, supportive co-parenting partnership, even without a romantic relationship. While Emily and Jason found their path to cooperative co-parenting without ever being married, other couples face different challenges on their journey. Some start with dreams of a lifelong partnership, only to face unexpected hurdles along the way. This is the story of Alex and Jamie, a couple who were high school sweethearts. They had been together since they were teenagers, sharing dreams, hopes, and plans for a future filled with love and happiness. After 8 years of being in a committed romantic relationship, they decided to get married, imagining that their life together would be amazing forever. For a while, everything seemed like their dreams came true. They enjoyed their life together, and soon their family grew with the arrival of 2 wonderful children, Ethan and Lily. However, Alex's job required him to travel extensively, leaving Jamie alone and feeling increasingly unhappy. The loneliness and disconnection grew, and Jamie made a regrettable decision. She had an affair, which tore her up inside because she knew it was wrong and against her true nature. After a period of internal conflict, Jamie took responsibility and admitted to Alex what she had been doing. The revelation was a shock, and Alex was devastated and angry, feeling betrayed and hurt. But during these tumultuous times, another painful truth came to light. Alex too had been having affairs during his travels. Both of them had developed separate lives, disconnected from each other. Their decision to divorce was mutual, but the aftermath was anything but smooth. They struggled immensely to create a positive environment for Ethan and Lily, who were just 5 and 7 years old. The children felt the tension and instability, and Alex and Jamie realized that their current path was not sustainable if they wanted the children to be well and thrive. In the middle of their turmoil, they came across a program that promised to help create a new relationship to focus on. Instead of dwelling on the past mistakes, they, desperate to find a solution for the sake of their children, decided to give it a try. They purchased the program and committed to the lessons, determined to turn things around. The program emphasized the importance of letting go of past grievances and starting fresh with a new perspective. It taught them to communicate effectively, set clear boundaries, and focus on building a cooperative co-parenting relationship. The program was challenging, requiring them to confront their past behaviors and make significant changes, but they were willing to do whatever it took for Ethan and Lily. Alex and Jamie began by setting up regular meetings to discuss their children's needs and schedules. They agreed to keep their personal issues out of the discussion, focusing solely on what was best for Ethan and Lily. These meetings helped them stay aligned and provided a structured way to address any issues that arose. They also worked on rebuilding trust, not as romantic partners, but as co-parents. This involved being reliable and consistent, showing up when they said they would, and supporting each other's parenting roles. They learned to appreciate each other's strengths and contributions, fostering a sense of mutual respect. One of the most transformative aspects of the program was learning to forgive themselves and each other. This process allowed them to let go of resentment and focus on the present and future. By doing so, they created a more positive and supportive environment for their children. Alex and Jamie's efforts paid off. Ethan and Lily began to feel more secure and happy, seeing their parents work together as a team. They attended school events and family gatherings as a united front, showing their children that despite the divorce, they were still a family. Through dedication and hard work, Alex and Jamie transformed their relationship from one filled with betrayal and hurt to a cooperative partnership focused on the well-being of their children. Their journey wasn't easy, but their commitment to their children made it worthwhile. Alex and Jamie's story is a powerful example of how focusing on creating a new relationship can lead to a positive outcome. By letting go of past mistakes and working together, they built a nurturing environment for their children, showing that even the most challenging situations can be turned around with the right mindset and effort.
So while Alex and Jamie transformed their relationship to provide a stable home for their children, others faced the complexities of blending families from previous relationships, which brings its own set of challenges. This is a story about a couple named Sarah and Mark. They were in their mid to late 30s when they met, and after dating for about a year, they decided to get married. Both had been through previous relationships, and each had 2 children from those relationships. Together, they had 1 child, bringing their blended family to a total of 5 children.
At first, things seemed to be going well. Sarah and Mark developed parental feelings for each other's children, and the stepchildren felt equally affectionate towards the new step-parents. It was a heartwarming start, with everyone trying to find their place in this new family dynamic. But as the time went on, it became clear that the romantic relationship between Sarah and Mark was filled with conflict.
They were constantly fighting, and it became apparent to everyone involved that they should never have been married. The beginning of their breakup was brutal. The divorce proceedings were harsh and emotionally draining, not just for Sarah and Mark, but especially for their 5 children. The tension and hostility affected everyone, and the children's well-being started to suffer.
The stress of the situation was evident in the children's lives. Some of the stepchildren began to experience negative impacts at school, with sleeping grades and behavioral issues. Teachers reported incidents of acting out, and the children's distress was clear. This negative behavior in the children had a dramatic impact on Sarah and Mark. They realized that their ongoing conflict was hurting their children and something needed to change.
Desperate to find a solution, Sarah and Mark decided to work with a co-parenting coach who had a program focused on self-responsibility and creating a brand new relationship, rather than behavior modification or repairing that failed marriage. Now, this program turned out to be a lifesaver for the entire family.
The program taught them to shift their focus from their past conflicts to building a new cooperative relationship as co-parents. They learned the importance of self-responsibility, understanding how their actions and behaviors impacted their children. Instead of trying to fix what was wrong with their marriage, they focused on creating a stable and nurturing environment for their children.
Sarah and Mark started by setting aside their differences and concentrating on what mattered most: their children's well-being. Their kids is all that mattered. They established clear and consistent communication channels, discussing their children's needs and schedules without letting personal grievances interfere. Regular meetings and check-ins helped them stay aligned and address any issues promptly.
They also worked on establishing new boundaries and roles. By clearly defining their responsibilities and respecting each other's space, they managed to reduce conflicts and create a more harmonious environment. They focused on co-parenting as a team, attending school events, and supporting each other's decisions regarding the children.
The impact on the children was profound. With their parents no longer fighting and providing a united front, the children started to feel more secure and loved. They felt safe. Their behavior at school improved, and they began to thrive in the positive, nurturing environment that Sarah and Mark had worked so hard to create.
This transformation was possible because Sarah and Mark made a conscious decision to move past their failed relationship and focus on their new roles as co-parents. They also let go of past resentments and worked together to build a supportive and loving atmosphere for all 5 children.
Their story shows the power of self-responsibility and the importance of focusing on the present and the future, rather than dwelling on the past relationship or mistakes. By prioritizing their children's needs and working together as co-parent partners, Sarah and Mark were able to turn a difficult situation into a positive one.
For anyone in a similar situation, Sarah's and Mark's journey is a testament to the possibility of creating a new cooperative relationship after painful breakup. It takes effort, patience, and a willingness to change, but the benefits for your children and your own peace of mind are immeasurable.
While Sarah and Mark managed to find harmony and cooperation for their blended family, some couples struggle to move past bitterness and conflict, even years after their divorce. The consequences of unresolved resentment can be devastating. Now, this story is about a couple named Lisa and Mike. They had been divorced for over 10 years. And sadly, their relationship had never moved past the bitterness and resentment that accompanied their split. They had 3 children together who were now in their mid to late teens. Sadly, the impact of Lisa and Mike's ongoing conflict had taken a severe toll on their children.
Their eldest son, Jake, had turned to violence and crime. He was frequently in trouble with the law and had developed a reputation for getting into fights. Their middle child, Emma, had sought solace in drugs and alcohol, using substances to escape the pain of the home life. The youngest, Sam, had turned inward, becoming clinically depressed and withdrawn from the world. It was a heartbreaking situation for all involved.
For the past decade, Lisa and Mike had been locked in a never-ending battle. They used their children as weapons to hurt each other. We should never do that. They cared more about their own bitterness and hurt feelings than the well-being of their own kids. They constantly fought and showed the worst that parents could show their kids. The court battles were endless, filled with yelling and accusations, and the children's needs were always an afterthought.
Their inability to move past the bitterness and focus on their children had catastrophic consequences. Jake's constant run-ins with the law escalated, leading to a juvenile detention sentence. Emma's substance abuse worsened, resulting in several hospitalizations for overdose. Sam's depression deepened to the point where he required intensive psychiatric care. Each child was suffering in their own way, directly affected by the toxic environment created by their parents.
Lisa and Mac's refusal to cooperate or seek help perpetuated a cycle of negativity and pain. They missed numerous opportunities to provide a stable, loving environment for their kids. The bitterness they harbored towards each other clouded their judgment and prevented them from seeing what truly mattered: the well-being of their kids.
This story is an evident reminder of what can happen when parents prioritize their grievances over their children's needs. Lisa and Mike's ongoing conflict not only damaged their own lives, but also deeply affected their children's future. Jake, Emma, and Sam faced tremendous challenges that could have been mitigated if their parents had chosen a path of cooperation and mutual respect.
It's a painful reality, but it underscores the importance of focusing on what truly matters in a co-parenting relationship. The well-being of your children should always come first. Holding on to anger and using children as pawns in a battle of bitterness only leads to suffering and long-term damage to your children.
For anyone listening, let Lisa and Mike's story be a cautionary tale. The cost of bitterness is high, and it's the children who pay the price. It's crucial for parents to set aside their differences, seek help if needed, and work together to create a positive, nurturing environment for their children. Cooperation isn't just beneficial, it's essential for the healthy development of your kids.
Remember, the journey to a better co-parenting starts with a commitment to prioritize your children's needs above all else. Clear communication, setting boundaries, and focusing on the present and future are key steps. Don't let past grievances dictate your actions. Choose to build a cooperative partnership that supports and nurtures your children.
In the end, it's about ensuring that your children feel secured, loved, and supported. By letting go of bitterness and working together, parents can create a positive future for their kids, even after the end of their romantic relationship. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Positively Inspired CoParenting Podcast. We've shared stories of couples who have faced significant challenges but found ways to create positive, nurturing environments for their children. These stories demonstrate the importance of shifting from an old relationship to a new co-parenting partnership through communication, respect, and a willingness to evolve.
We hope these stories have inspired you to take steps towards building a cooperative, co-parenting relationship, no matter where you are on your journey. Remember, the well-being of your children should always come first. Making the shift from a failed romantic or intimate relationship to a successful co-parenting relationship requires effort, patience, and a commitment to focusing on the present and the future rather than dwelling on past mistakes.
For those who choose not to pursue a cooperative co-parenting relationship, the consequences can be severe and long-lasting. Unresolved conflict and bitterness can deeply affect your children's lives. It's crucial to set aside differences and work together to create a positive, nurturing environment for their sake.
Co-parenting is just another type of personal relationship, and it's imperative to make the transition from the old failed relationship to this new cooperative one. By redefining your relationship and focusing on the shared goal of raising happy, healthy children, you can create a supportive and loving environment for your kids.
If you have any questions or would like to share your own story, please reach out to us. We believe in the power of community and learning from each other's experiences. Together, we can create a supportive network of co-parents dedicated to raising happy, healthy children.
Thank you so much for listening. Stay tuned for more episodes where we will continue to explore the dynamics of co-parenting and share more stories of hope and inspiration. Until next time, take care and keep prioritizing what's most important: your children.